Ladies and gentlemen, big breaking news coming in at the top of the bulletin, where top sources are telling CNN News 18 what Prime Minister Modi told his ministers in the first cabinet meeting of Modi 3.0. He told the ministers to not make unnecessary statements, speak only when necessary on issues related to their ministries. The Prime Minister said avoid giving sermons, reach the ministry on time as it has a positive effect on the office staff. Send files to your MOS as well. Involve the ministers of state in the decision making is what we are learning, is the message that came in from Prime Minister Narendra Modi to his ministers as the entire portfolio of the Modi 3.0 government has now been unveiled. And this is what we are learning from top sources when it comes to Prime Minister Modi's message to his ministers, to his council of ministers, when it comes to operating in Modi 3.0. He has said, don't make unnecessary statements, speak specifically to your particular ministry, also pointing out that involve all ministers of state in the decision making of all ministries. I'm joined by my colleague Payal Mehta on the broadcast, who's getting us this piece of breaking news. So Payal, Prime Minister Modi, of course, hitting the ground running when it comes to his agenda, also giving those marching orders to his ministers.
Actually, it's more like an advisory, given the fact that, within the ranks of the new cabinet, there are a few ministers who probably have very little or zero experience of how the governance really works under Prime Minister Modi. So, don't speak out of turn, speak only when it concerns your ministry. Do not, try to create impact, do not come under pressure, by making unnecessary remarks, and also make sure that you share your files, etc., details, etc., with the MOS, because the MOS is also part of the governing process, is also part of the government, and that's something that the Prime Minister said. And most importantly, he said discipline is going to be extremely critical. If you reach office on time, you send a message not only just to your party colleagues or to your cabinet colleagues, but also to the officers at large, who will have a greater amount of respect for you. This is not the first time Ayushman, as the Prime Minister, said this. He said this on a multiple occasion, but very importantly, he's highlighted this in the first cabinet meeting itself. So the message has gone loud and clear.
Also, when it comes to Prime Minister Modi's signature brand, Payal, him also saying that reach your ministries on time because this will send a positive message to all government employees, is something at par with what he has always said whenever he's taken the reins of power.
Well, absolutely. The Prime Minister said this not just to the cabinet right now, but also in a couple of Council of Ministers meeting, are essentially saying that if 9:30 is the work hours for the officers, make sure that you also reach on time. Make sure that, you do not come under pressure from anybody, and do not give anybody an opportunity to prove or to tell people that you're lackluster in your approach as well. So a professional approach has to be followed, given the fact that you're talking about a service to the nation. And Prime Minister Modi says that he has a blueprint of 100 days already available, and the work has to begin from the word go. And that's the reason you've seen two critical decisions being taken, one by the cabinet this evening about housing for all, and in the morning the Prime Minister signed that file for the Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana. So obviously they mean a lot of business, but that cannot really happen without having a very professional approach towards your work.
Thank you, Payal, for getting us that piece of breaking news. Prime Minister Modi hitting the ground running, if you will, when it comes to his agenda, also telling his ministers to show up to work on time, send a positive message to the government employees, also saying not to make unnecessary statements when it comes to the work of your particular ministry, also telling all the ministers to take all the ministers of state on board when it comes to decision making of particular ministries.